Hello and welcome back to FPL Hacks with me, Holly Shand. Today I'm going to be looking at how you can make up ground in your mini leagues in the final few games of the season and exploring some differentials that could be good to go with. If you're eyeing up a transfer in for a differential this week, do let me know in the comments and give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. So if you're in a competitive mini league with friends, work colleagues or family and you've got ground to make up in the final few weeks, this is the time to do something different. There's no point copying your rival's move and having the same players. You need to think outside the box, maybe with a differential or two. Now, a differential is essentially a player that is low owned, and we normally define a differential as being less than 10% owned, and you can actually filter on the FPL website by player ownership to give you an idea of who is popular and who is not. Now, it's definitely possible over the remaining game weeks to make up a points difference of 50 or so. I've even seen points gaps closed of 50 points in the final game week of the season, particularly if you've gone differential with your captaincy. Captaincy is another great tool that we have in order to try and make up ground, especially if you're going to go with maybe not the most popular pick in a game week. And we talk about things in the FPL community like swords and shields. A shield pick is a player who's highly owned that will allow you to keep rank. A sword pick is more of an attacking one, hopefully to help you make up that vital ground as we go into the season running. And as well as having those shield picks and sword picks, it's also a valid strategy to double up. If you see a defence that's keeping a lot of clean sheets that's highly owned, if you go for two players from that defence, then that can give you a little bit of an edge. Likewise, if you spotted an attack that are really delivering, then if you double up on that attack, inevitably, if they do score lots of goals, then you're more likely to maximise those fantasy points. So lots of different tools that we can have in the final season running to make up that vital ground on your opponents. If we have a look at some specific cases then, and I'm going to start with Liverpool, Mo Salah, the most owned player in the game, almost at 60% ownership. But you can pick up his teammate Sadio Mane for just 3.7% ownership. Now, looking at this pair, when we consider captaincy in game week 36, Liverpool have a double game week against Aston Villa and Tottenham, going to be very popular options for captaincy, particularly Mo Salah, easily going to be the most captain player in that game week. However, if you were to bring in Sadio Mane as an extra, or even risk going without Salah and having Mane instead for the run-in, that is going to be a huge differential, especially with captaincy considered in game week 36. Now, if you compare these two, obviously over the course of the season, Salah has been the premium from Liverpool to go for, but actually since game week 26, both of these players have scored 6 goals each. Their numbers have become more similar, and there is a chance that over 4 game weeks rather than 38 game weeks that Mane can outscore Salah, and particularly on captaincy in a given week, those percentages of that variance get even higher. Sticking with Liverpool, one of the other players in the top 3 most owned in the game this season is Trent Alexander-Arnold in almost 40% of teams. His teammate Andrew Robertson in just over 10% of teams as things stand. And actually, in 2022, Robertson has been outscoring Trent. Now, it is a big chunk of your budget to go with both players, but I think that is very much justified given that Liverpool's defence has kept 20 clean sheets this season, more than any other Premier League side. And if you compare them on attacking returns, certainly in 2022, Robertson has 7 attacking returns, 1 goal, 6 assists, and Trent has 4 assists. So the cheaper option is actually delivering. So if you're backing Liverpool to keep 4 or 5 more clean sheets on the way to the end of the season, then by all means go with both players, but also if you fancy backing Robertson to outscore Trent, maybe making that switch could be another way of making up ground. Moving on to options then from Manchester City, another team in the hunt for the Premier League title, 19 clean sheets this season, and that's why João Cancelo is in so many Premier League teams at the moment. Over 40% of managers own him in the game right now. I think that Manchester City perhaps have the kindest fixture schedule to the end of the season, and doubling up and adding Aymeric Laporte into your lineup to go alongside Cancelo could be a great option for the rest of the season. Same number of appearances over the most recent period of the season in 2022, which is encouraging for both of their minutes. I think Cancelo is going to be nailed on more towards the end of the season because he has got a little bit of a ban in the Champions League semi-final first leg, so that could be crucial. But there are lots of injuries in that City defence at the moment. We've got Stones and Ake both flagged as doubts at the moment, and Kyle Walker as well in that category, so I think that bodes well for minutes for both of these players for the run-in. And actually Laporte has had more shots in the box this season than any other defender in the game with 29, so I think the pair of them can yield points. Now, when we're talking about premium players as well, looking at Manchester City's midfield, I think Kevin de Bruyne has to be in the conversation as the go-to premium player right now, and particularly with Gameweek 35 coming up, a game against Leeds United, he could be the most captained player for that game week. But a huge differential, just 8.6% owned. Not everyone will be able to go with him. So if you fancy getting Kevin De Bruyne in your team, now is the time to do it. Over the last 7 game weeks, only Harry Kane and Heung-min Son have scored more fantasy points than De Bruyne, and he's top for key passes over this period with 24. I had a way of getting Kevin De Bruyne easily into my team right now. I'd absolutely be doing it and give him the armband because he will be a massive differential when it comes to captaincy for game week 35. And if he does deliver a double-digit score and other premium players and other captain options falter, then that could fire you up to the top of your mini league with the final few game weeks remaining. Now, one other side to mention, Chelsea. We've been debating for a number of weeks now. Do we go with Mason Mount? Do we go with Kai Havertz? Again, think of the ownership if you've got ground to make up. Mount is in nearly a quarter of FPL teams. Kai Havertz currently under 10%, so a true differential if that's the way that you like to class them at that 10% mark. Equal appearances over the last 7 game weeks and equal on attacking returns with 7, but Havertz has had 7 big chances over the last 7 game weeks, which marks him second among all players. So there's certain goal threat. He is the one that's more likely to get goals in this Chelsea attack. Mount, more of an assist role or an all-round midfielder that can provide both goals and assists. But if you want that little bit of an edge when it comes to goal scoring and you want to bring in a Chelsea midfielder this week, then Havertz over Mount could be the thing that propels you up your mini. I would like to hear your transfer plans then for FPL Game Week 35. If you've got any dilemmas, please do get in the comments. I'll do my best to answer all of them ahead of the deadline. And if you can give this video a like and subscribe to the channel, all of your support really helps. And good luck everyone for FPL Game Week 35.